I always find that I never can do it properly with my left hand for some reason. I'm always like, that's what's happening today in my world, but whatever. Hello. Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour, Mylène. Et bienvenue à The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I am drinking, still not sponsored, but I wish I was, Citrus Energy by Ghost Energy in an advanced GG mug. Not sponsored. I wish I was sponsored by either of them. We need to be caffeinated because I have minimal opinions to talk about when it comes to this episode. That's all.
Well, hello. Hi, you guys. I am Lana, your resident Eva Diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. I am not drinking any tea today because I don't need the caffeination this late at night because I do want to go to sleep at some point tonight. But I'm not really drinking anything. I got some water here, but that's about it. Stay hydrated, everybody. But I always have around my cup mug because you can never go wrong with having your cup mug right here. Ta-da, ta-da.
Always and forever cup mug.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Full of cup mug, Panna.
It's
Full of
very, very,
you can see it very, very good.
Very
today.
colorful today. Damn. All right.
But you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And we do ship internationally, so there are no uses. Get your cup merch, period. I'm looking at you, France. Oh, I'm looking at you.
And you know what we're going to be doing later? Looking over here at the looks. So make sure to check out our Look Over Here episode when it comes out later today, if you're watching on the day that we upload this, where we're going to dive into the makeover looks. But this is the episode recap, so we're going to recap the episode of Drag Race France that we watched. I will say, this was a fine episode of television. I am ready for this season to be over. It has not been a horrid season.
No.
But I am ready for this season to be over.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're going to dive into everything regarding this makeover. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because we are here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. Currently, that means France, Mexico, and All-Stars, with a Canada versus the world, and probably a Philippines on the way. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, do all those lovely, wonderful things, and check the description below for all of our other YouTube channels, our audio podcast links, and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access to a lot of our content from across all 4 channels, including early access to the Look Over Here episodes for all of the Drag Race franchises that we are currently covering. So, Lana, I'm still sad. Our Norma Bell is gone. Everyone is distraught.
Very sad.
Everyone is like, she went home. Oh, she went home. Oh. And I'm still very sad.
Yeah.
I hope
I
hope either she's fluent in English or we get her on a, France versus the world. I don't know. I would like to see her in a few years when she's got some, more experience under her belt. And I very similarly feel that way about the person eliminated this week. We'll talk about it. But yes, they come into the workroom. Nikki comes in and we have a mini challenge. We're playing Twister Bingo.
Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
Just one of these mini challenges. I'm like, okay, whatever.
But what I will say is I'm very happy that once again, we have a drag king making an appearance on Drag Race France. So thank you, Drag Race France. I don't remember his name, and that makes me really upset right now. but he was the bingo caller, and he was very lovely.
I thought it was Daphne Burke.
It definitely was not.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, oh,
He wasn't tall enough to be Daphne,
but
out of drag,
well,
but after all is said and done, Perseo wins.
right.
The one thing I noted from this, why did Misty put her? Because you're doing the bingo, but you're doing it with your
Twister with her body.
limbs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Misty go head first?
Trying to be funny.
Was that what she was trying to do?
I think it was just to be for the gag of it all. Like,
Okay.
I don't
All
think it
right.
was like oh, this is gonna help me win. It was just like, oh, this is gonna be this is for TV. This is for the gag.
All right. Cool. Party. But Perseo wins the mini challenge and doesn't win anything. So whatever.
She picks
It
the
doesn't matter.
makeover people.
Yeah, because our maxi challenge, the makeover, we are making over elder queers. Always a good, candidate for makeovers. Always a good time. So yes, Perseo does a pretty fair job at distributing everybody based on, a little bit more based on like physical attribute. Everybody was white, so like honestly, it made the whole process a lot easier. So they're doing their thing in the workroom. It's a lot of workroom stuff. I had a couple things that stood out to me, Lana, but it was a pretty typical makeover workroom situation.
I mean, we got a lot of stories, which you expect to get. You get a lot of stories about people's past and how they became who they are today, and the struggles that they faced, and the hardships and the decisions that they made when they were growing up, trying to navigate this world as someone who is a queer person in a time where maybe being queer wasn't as accepted, and and shoot, heck, it's still not as super accepted as it is now. But I always find makeover shows when they do like people who are in the community, in the LGBTQ community. It's always very touching. It's always very heartwarming. I feel like it's always very uplifting to the queens who are in this competition, but get to step back and say, okay, reflect on how life was, if it was good or bad, but they get to see that you're not alone. There's other people out there who've been through this, who face these situations, and these with these older queer people. They were just like, yeah, we all struggled, we all had to fight, and we all had to make it through, but their fight made it easier, a smidge easier for the next generation, and their fight is going to make it a smidge easier for the next generation, and so on and so forth. So I think it's always a beautiful thing to see, to have these conversations, and to have that kind of camaraderie in the workroom, especially this late in the game when so many people have gone home and they are getting tired, and they're, just always working, always competing. To have that little break in, or moment to just reflect on life and things like that, is always a beautiful thing. I like makeover shows. It's always very touching, but it's always very much the same. So it's kind of like, I don't really know how to, like, I don't know if I get really excited. I get more excited about the runway than I do about the workroom stuff, because I'm like, we know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But do I love hearing the stories? Yes, I love hearing the stories. But it's like, okay, we know what it's going to be, but I just get really more excited about the transformations of it all.
I definitely agree with that. I think a lot of it, yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of that. What I liked about the stories, though, that we did get, specifically, was we found out that Leona's makeover partner had a very late transition, late in her life. I'm happy that we're getting those stories as well, because we don't get a lot of stories about trans people in general that transition later in their lives. I personally know a lot of trans people that are in their 40s and 50s now that didn't get to transition until later in life when it was a little bit more socially acceptable, specifically. And that's kind of a little bit of what she was talking about in her discussions. I was really happy to see that. I love that Lula's makeover partner shaved his eyebrows. I was like, work. Okay,
Work,
great.
work.
Very excited. Perseo's makeover partner was the sweetest human. He was also, for me, and I'm going to say this for me personally, he was very attractive. I was like, oh, hi, Michelle. Hi. I was like, yeah. But yeah, we get a couple of, our Emmy moments as per usual. Philip's makeover partner was talking about living through the AIDS crisis with his husband. And, it's a similar story to a lot that we've heard on Drag Race before, but I'm very happy that we're getting those stories shared on Drag Race France. I am happy that we are continuing, hearing stories of older generations and what they dealt with the AIDS crisis in the 80s and 90s. Obviously, things are very, very different today. I literally am wearing an AIDS Walk shirt today because of it. And as I've said before on the podcast, I'm HIV positive. So anytime that, and undetectable, let me make that clear as well. But the fact that we're getting more of these stories on Drag Race, I'm always very, very happy to hear about it, because it helps to break down the stigma that is very, very much still present in our society. It's very not lovely, actually, at all. I hate it. But and then the big story was between Lula and her makeover partner, talking about, her makeover partner was talking about how he suffered a homophobic attack, had a night out and just got attacked, which is also very common situation that happens, unfortunately, and talked about how he was a dancer. But yeah, I felt for him in that story. It's not, it's not what I would want to hear of that kind of stuff.
Nobody wants to hear that. That's very, let people live their life. It doesn't affect you.
Exactly. It reminds me of a very similar story we heard from La Grande Dame on her original season of France, where she was talking about a similar incident that happened. So thankfully, as of, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that, France's government has shifted left. So that's good for them. I hope that actually means more protections for queer people. So
absolutely
good for you, France. And then Lula kind of opens up as well, talking about her family situation growing up, how her mom was in a very, very depressed situation for a long time, and it kind of left her and her dad kind of lost, and she was 10 and didn't really know what was happening. And all I can say is I can relate to some of that. So I have at least a bit of an idea of how things like that are. So this moment for me, I as touching as it is, and I'm glad that we got to hear this story from Lula, this really reaffirms in my mind that I think Lula's winning the season, and genuinely I'm okay with it. I don't know if you've noticed, Lana, but watching this episode and last episode specifically, I think, conspiracy theory time, I think they're trying to somewhat edit Leona out. Because I have not noticed us getting a lot of Leona at all in these episodes. And I'm curious if it has anything to do with, the blackface allegations. Well, not allegations. It happened. It did indeed happen. So I'm curious if we will see that in the coming episodes.
I have to pay attention, because I have not been paying that much attention to her In
It
the
feels very
same way.
subtle. It feels
Mhm.
very subtle. But I feel like being paired with an older trans woman in this episode, I would have thought that we would have gotten more opportunities to hear them talking about it. And the only time that I remember hearing them talk about it was at the very, very start when they got paired up. And I don't remember really hearing from Leona otherwise. So if y'all think the same, let us know in the comments. I'm curious to see what other people's perspectives on that are, but I've just found that a little interesting. But with that being said, shall we go to the runway?
Absolutely.
Boom. Runway. Our guest judges are acclaimed actress Beatrice Dahl and influencer actress Meryl B. I thought they were both lovely.
Yes. Both lovely. Are we saving the judges' looks for look over here?
Yes, because I have a lot of things to say.
Me too.
But what I will say,
I don't want to even talk about it. Let's save all the comments for look over here, because I feel like
here's what I will say about the judges. It's not about the looks.
Okay.
I actually think Meryl was a really great guest judge. A lot of her feedback was very, very critical, but kind and open. And not that Beatrice wasn't, but I really felt like Meryl, for lack of a better term, understood the assignment in a lot of ways. And I really liked the bits that we saw Nikki getting emotional in this episode as well. Like it feels like this makeover really touched her in a very specific way. And I was happy to see that from Nikki, because I like Nikki. I like Nikki a lot, but I've felt like a lot of this season has been a little bit of like robotic Nikki. Like a little like cruise control Nikki.
Right.
I liked seeing some more genuine emotion from her. That's what I'll say.
Agreed. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Category is Makeover Ma Grande, because they're old, I guess, is the... I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
They're old. They're seasoned.
Correct.
Old.
First up on the runway, we have Ruby on the nail and Opaline on the nail.
She hit it on the nail.
She did. She really did. Yeah, I loved seeing their connection throughout this episode, and she did great. Le Philippe and La Baronne de Roche Godmichel.
This is a lot, but in a good way.
I agree. Their performance was very fun for me. This is the first time I feel like I'm getting personality from Le Philippe. And I liked seeing it. I'm finally coming around a little bit, I think. I think, maybe. But yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Me too.
Lula Strega and Bonnie Strega.
I like it.
I thought it was good.
I like it.
I thought it was pretty solid. Pretty solid, pretty all right, pretty good. Definitely not winner, but another solid performance from... Has Lula missed yet?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I would have to go back and look.
Yeah. But at least on the runway, I don't think she's missed for me.
Okay.
So. Perseo, and Cedio.
Oh, I love it. You know what?
So good.
It's so good. I'm not mad at this at all. I wasn't mad at it. I enjoyed it.
This is some of the most clothing we've seen Perseo wear this season. Like, goodness gracious. I thought their performance of it was really good too. So simple, but effective.
Mm-hmm.
Misty Phoenix and Foggy Phoenix. She did not let this baby breathe on the runway. She did not let this baby breathe. She said, I'm going to hold your hand and I'm going to direct you the whole time. Girl.
It was interesting to watch. I'll say that. Their performance was interesting to watch, and it was just, yeah, she made sure she guided her throughout the entire. You might as well put a leash on her.
Basically. But, yeah. And then last up, we have Leona Winter and Milena Fall.
I actually like this. I really do like this.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at this at all.
No. I was like, would I have had her in the bottom too? I don't think so, unfortunately.
No.
It's polished and well done.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have had her in the bottom too, not for this.
No. Mm-mm. No. But that's that. Because we've got nothing else to talk about. So we find out our top 3 are Ruby, Leona, and Lula. I think I would agree.
Yeah. I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. The only one maybe that I would have shifted was I would have swapped Philip for Lula. Because I think overall I liked Philip's garments and performance, I think, a little bit more. So I just would have had Philip in the top and Lula safe.
I don't see. I find mine a little switchy swappy. Like, I like Philip's performance. I mean, Lula's performance, but I like Philip's look.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't like I like Lula's look. No, Lula's performance over Philip's performance. But I like Philip's look. I mean, performance over, blah, 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 if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, not really, but I'm following.
Lula's performance outdid Philip's performance. But Philip's look beat Lula's look for me.
Okay. You said all of the above options, so I just wanted to clarify your stance on the matter.
I'm trying to get it all right.
All the L names also don't help.
They don't help. Lula,
Logan and Lana talking about Leona, Lula, and LaPhilip.
Right. Get out of here with that.
Well, it doesn't matter because an L name didn't win this challenge. It was Ruby of the Nail. Yes.
Back to back.
The fact that her
going from lip syncing to back for her life.
Can we talk about how her track record is safe, bottom, high, win.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Wild.
That track record is crazy. Track record
Wild. I'm very happy to see it. I think I would agree. Given this challenge, I think I would agree with the Ruby win.
Me too.
I think the only other person really that could have gotten it for me was Leona. But I think Ruby's performance of it was a little bit stronger. So,
agreed.
But with Philip safe, which I think was the right decision, we do end up with a bottom 2 of Perseo and Misty.
Yeah, true. I agree with it.
Yeah, I think that just has to be the bottom 2.
Yeah.
We get a lip sync though to Hey Mama by David Guetta featuring BB Rexa and Nicki Minaj. Wild.
I feel like once they saw this was in the bottom two, they were like, "Oh, that's the lip sync song." Like,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we know we go get a performance from these two, and
we
boy,
did.
we get a performance.
This was, for me, this was the second best lip sync of the season. I still have Ruby and Magnetica as my number one for the season. I got to be honest, but this lip sync was very, very good.
It was so good.
Perseo, take off the damn hat.
Just take the dang hat off.
Perseo, take off the hat challenge. Like,
I really feel like if she would have just took the hat off and just, I wish she would have just had the ball cap on underneath and just did the whole thing.
Is she, like, I just wish she had done her natural hair. I don't even care.
Oh, well, I thought that was like drag, don't know 101 is to show your natural boy.
But in this case, honestly, I wouldn't have cared. I really honestly wouldn't have cared. It would have given her complete freedom of performance. And I think that honestly, the hat is the reason why Misty did better in the lip sync.
Absolutely. The hat held Perseo back so much.
On track record, Misty should have gone home here. Like, if you're looking at track record purposes, like, Perseo's been a little bit all over the place. Misty's been high the last 3 weeks, but Perseo has a win.
Right.
So it's like, I just would have wished that she would have taken it off. And I think maybe she could have beaten Misty I think Misty did a great job in the lip sync though. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Misty on this season, but she is a performer. And we saw, they both had their stunts. I thought both of their stunts were really, really good. But ultimately, I do unfortunately think the right person won.
Absolutely. I do too, because you just wouldn't let go of the hat. And if you're not going to let go of the hat, then it's not going to.
The hat was her inner saboteur and she needed to let it go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
and instead we have to let go of Perseo.
I'm very sad about that.
I'm really upset about it. Perseo, I think for me, is the standout of the season. I really am obsessed with her. I hope that we can see her again on something. Whether it's, a France versus the world, España versus the world.
That'd be cute.
I think she speaks English too, so like I think that would be really fun to see her, give her a few years out in the world. She'd only been doing drag for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. Like, give her some time to elevate her performance style and give her a time to get some a little bit more money. Bring her back. She's going to demolish.
Yeah, she'll eat.
And I was really genuinely happy to have Canary Islands representation on another franchise. And I think she represented them very well.
Absolutely.
And I will say, Lana, you want to know which Canary Queen placed 6th on her original season of Drag Race?
Let me guess. Let me guess, because I feel like she might be the winner of an España All Stars.
Perhaps.
So are we saying we see the same trajectory for Miss Perseo?
Yes. I would like to see it.
I would love to see it.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it. So
I would love to see it.
We love you, Perseo.
By the way, look, I do know the name.
Obviously Setless. I know. We covered that season, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
But we love you, Perseo. Ow. So, I do have a draft update because our draft is slowly, and now only a 2-horse race, Lana. It's me and you.
Yeah, David was holding on to a Perseo and a prayer.
Yep. And
Sorry,
David is now officially out of the draft for Drag Race France, ending up with 21 points.
Good 21 points, David.
Mostly from Perseo.
He would have been a challenge in this episode. It's crazy.
Yep.
But yes.
You're currently sitting in second place, Lana, with 52 points, and I am in the lead with 60. So it's not that far behind. I do think you have the winner of the season, though. So I mean, we'll see.
You just have to have a few bad shows where your person just all of your team ends up at the bottom.
I was like, literally next week, if Lula wins, Philip is in the top, the rest of my team bottoms, then I think we'll be even again.
We're going to switch some stuff up. Yeah.
And next week, we don't know what the challenge is. Because, Nikki was talking about a talent show again. Like, you have to display another talent. So I'm curious what that is. And we saw a lot of hair runways.
Yeah, runway is definitely hair.
Hair is definitely the runway.
Who knows?
I don't know what to expect for next week, but sure.
We'll be tuned in to watch.
And we'll be back here to talk all things Drag Race France. So, thank you for joining us for this episode. Make sure to check out the Look Over Here, which will be dropping later today if you're watching this on the day that we are dropping this episode. Subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Let us know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, check out the description to find our audio podcast links, all of our other YouTube channels, and where you can join us on Patreon for exclusive content and early access, including early access to Look Over Here for all the franchises we're currently covering. You could also follow us on social media at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow me and Lana down below as well. And you can get your merch, including but not limited to Cup Mug, down there as well. And with all that being said, we are going to get out of here. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Woo.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
French words.
Bye.
Go. It's not the same as last season, I gotta be honest.
Go.